Okay, so you guys are partners in some shit here.
Yeah, so we've got NADC Burger.
Mm-hmm.
We just opened in Soho a couple of weeks ago now. And so
good for you guys.
Thank you,
man.
That's in like the general admission, and then Sushi by Scratch Restaurants. What does that mean? Sushi by Scratch Restaurants is in the VIP section we're doing like a little micro omakase.
Oh, fun.
So like if you have a VIP ticket, you can come and sit down and do like about an 8-minute 4-course experience.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, we don't doing those like types of events. We've done them for so long, and there's no ROI because people just get ripped. They don't remember what food, like who they got their food from.
Yeah.
And so I've done it now where it's like I'll only show up where it's like people have to like purposefully want to dine with us. They have to wait in the line. They have to sit down. I get their full attention for like 6 to 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I get a huge ROI when people actually like come into the restaurant.
And they care.
Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise it's, now this event's a little bit different because it's like a super highly curated one but like all your like LA Food and Wine, New York Food, all those ones where people just get like plastered, and just go around and get like one bite of food.
Yeah.
What are you going to be doing over there?
Are we recording? No.
I don't know. Are we rolling?
Not a damn chance. Not a damn chance.
Where are you guys coming from, LA then?
I live in Austin. He lives most of the time in Chicago and Fort Worth.
Okay, cool.
Just kind of split time, bounce back and forth.
Yeah. You grow up in either of those?
I'm from Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's hometown for me. So it kind of went full circle. Went to LA for 13 years for skateboarding, and then like around the pandemic, I bought a house in Fort Worth, Texas, and then from there we opened restaurants in Chicago. So I was like, I want to go back home, and kind of like started going back and forth.
Well, I know this isn't supposed to be just about your guys' story, but I'm very intrigued by how you guys met and got into doing your thing.
You,
We met. Actually, we became friends the same way I make most of my friends, which is they're sitting across from me at one of my restaurants, and so he came in to Sushi by Scratch Restaurants in Austin.
That's like a sushi omakase spot,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we just sort of hit it off because like I used to skate, he's a pro skater, he loves to cook, I'm a pro chef.
So you guys got along.
But like specifically because everybody cooks. I'm sure everybody you meet is like, oh yeah, my wife's a great, or I love to cook at home. But like he was like, yeah, I have this. He's like, I'm really into cooking. Like I built this like 10-foot hearth in my backyard, and I'm like, no one has that. And they showed me a picture, and like Scratch Bar, which is my first restaurant, like before it became like a cool to like cook in a fireplace. I had a 16-foot brick lined fireplace back in like 2013, 14.
And this is Austin.
This is LA. So I'm from LA.
Okay, gotcha.
But like he basically had a version of what I had, and I was like, that's how I cook, and nobody else, like no home cook builds a masonry hearth in their backyard. He's like, yeah, and I cut a big hole in the ground. I bury pigs in there and shit.
Cool. So project cooker, because nothing about that is a quick 45-minute chicken thigh.
No. So we just immediately became great friends, and then we started this burger concept as like a fun little like literally the first 2 years of its existence was us showing up to like skate parks or comedy shows and giving away free burgers as like a fun hobby because he's got a real career.
Like Saturday.
So what kind of burger style are we talking about? And all the rave and buzz of the smash burger, which is phenomenal.
So
I love it. What do you?
I'll let Phillip take it.
Yeah, we used to call it a smash burger,
Yeah.
and then Instagram changed what a smash burger is.
Okay.
Smash burger. Smash was a technique, not a thickness.
Sure. Okay.
And so our thickness is about like this. But
for those of you watching, it was about 3/8 of an inch.
Yeah, it's about the size of your pinky, unless you got a giant pinky.
Sausage fingers.
Yeah, but like the smash is to get like contact to get the caramelization on the meat. It's not so that I could turn it into like a crisp.
Crepe.
It's not supposed to be a crepe.
Yeah.
It's supposed to still be. So what we do is we smash and we leave it about this thick, and then we season it. It gets a ton of chopped onions, and then we get a nice crust on that side, flip it, but when it flips, it doesn't even make contact on the other side. It
just steams.
Steams in the onion juice.
Yeah, I love that.
We only have one burger one way on the menu.
Good for you.
You can mod it. It became a whole thing where people were mad that you couldn't mod it because it's called Not a Damn Chance, but you can. It's never been a thing that we don't let you.
Yeah.
We don't let you sort of like, I guess you could. We only have one thing on the menu. So it's like if you don't like jalapenos, which comes standard, we'll leave it off for you. Fine. Not a problem.
We also use 100% Wagyu beef as well, so it's just like juicy,
nice and fatty.
Yeah,
flavorful.
I'm with you, and I'm team. A smash burger doesn't need to be super. I like a little thick smash.
Yeah. That's what I mean. And so it's like double patty. So like it's 2-3 ounces. It's a
beefy boy.
Yeah, 70. It's a 70-30 blend of 100% Japanese Wagyu. So we found this ranch in Texas 25 years ago. They brought in cows from Japan. They've been breeding them for 25 years, and so we're getting it. Truly is Japanese Wagyu, just race and harvested.
The bloodline goes back. For
sure. It's cooked to about like medium well-ish, so it's a little pink on the inside.
Just call it perfect. I stopped describing it any other way. Perfect. We cook it perfectly.
That's it.
So that's a little about us, but dude, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
The idea here is really to talk to people who are really like at the top of their field, and like what you're doing is like.
Well, thank you for that compliment, whether it's true or not.
Well, I mean, being a chef myself, and dabbling in Instagram and trying to make videos and stuff. I mean, like you're pretty fucking up there.
I figured it out.
And that couldn't have been easy because also like this whole. I mean this with no disrespect, but this sort of like influencer culture, this sort of like it's new. It's like you guys are still the pioneers of like figuring out, and with that, this whole podcast is about the perseverance of just making shit happen,
doing that.
And so when we had the opportunity to sit down with you, we were like, that's dope, because like I know we would love to get to a point where we have we make content that has that type of following and all that, type of stuff. And really just want to sort of hear like, how'd you get into cooking? How'd you get into content creation? Cause I understand you started kind of late, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like you mentioned, like this idea, this chase of like as a job, as a thing, being an influencer. And, I just turned 40 last month, and when I was growing up, it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how old you guys are, but
38 and
same,
40.
Looks like the same boat. It wasn't an option. I wasn't,
it
wasn't like a dream. It wasn't an anything. You know what I mean? I did construction and did just dead end jobs, man. To be honest, wasn't good at didn't do good at school. Didn't go to college. Didn't shit, man. Just for better or worse, just kind of got into. I went to Culinary. I'm sorry, I went to a community college for 2 semesters.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in northern New Jersey, and I went to go to become a cop. I thought, man, like had so many interactions. I mean, not so many, but enough with just like asshole cops,
And you wanted to be a good one.
Yeah, I didn't know what else the hell to do, man. Like, I honestly, like, naive Brad was like, what, man, fuck this. I'll become a cop, man.
I'll show them how it's done.
I'll change kids' lives, man.
Yeah.
Like directionally. Instead of, some kids hanging out smoking pot at some, like, some road, and like I grew up skateboarding a bit, and like I was never good at it, but like there was these roads where people built ramps and had a piece of steel, angle iron that they would grind on. And we'd go down there and smoke joints and hang out, and someone would drink a fucking hard Mike lemonade or something.
That's childhood. You're supposed to do that.
14, 15
times, right?
But then, New Jersey, man, the cops there are, and I don't want to generalize, but in my experience growing up, especially the state troopers, and just townies, man, they were bored. They had nothing else to do. They were, you know what I mean? So they'd come harass us and give kids a hard time. And I really thought, man, I got to get out of here. I don't want to rip shingles off a roof forever. I'm too tall for that shit, and it sucks. And so I went to school for that, and then like, man, it just wasn't it, like.
So they had community college.
Well, they told me I couldn't smoke pot, so I was like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, fuck this. Is this really gonna work out, dude? Like,
with a shirt like that, it seemed like pot was important. No, I'm kidding.
I look like a parrot head, for God's sakes. But yeah, man, that just didn't pan out, and like school just wasn't my thing. I was always just label it whatever you want, but I was always just kind of bouncing off the walls in it. Quiet, but in my brain, I'd be like doodling on the desk or something. Just wanted to be anything but in this classroom.
Just wasn't catching.
It wasn't my thing, man. And school's not for everyone, right? And and I was from there. I just did a bunch of, we did a lot of stuff. I mean, we don't need to talk about everything, but like was doing construction. I was in a Union Glazers for a while in New Jersey doing architectural aluminum and glass, and then just working for some guys. Just stories like you would, like my God, I should write a book. These guys were like degenerates. You know what I mean? And like. We had a blast. I had a blast, but I was like, fuck, man, if I don't get out of this, I'm going to end up like getting some girlfriend pregnant that I don't want to be with and fucking swinging a hammer. And like, sure, I could have been good at it. And not to knock that. Like, there's people that got their shit together, have amazing businesses in those fields, by all means. If so, more so now than ever, it's a valuable trade.
But I think even the mindset of like recognizing that like this is a somewhat comfortable pattern that I could end up in.
Well, I didn't want to be these people. Exactly.
But how many people don't even realize that? Like what we try to sort of put together is like how like that same mindset over time and through maturity kind of can lead towards You
want, man, I'll tell you something. I don't think I've ever really told anyone this just because it sounds so fucking cheesy and it's like so, but ever since I was like young teenager, I always felt like I wanted to do something bigger and better. Like I always wanted to like do something. Like, fuck this. I want to like do something awesome. Like you see so much stuff on TV, and then the internet started coming around, and like that was just an explosion of what else is out there, right? And just like I always had that seed, man. Like I don't think I never like was vocal about it. I was never like a cocky kid or something, but like I always felt like I could do more than. And these are my friends at the time, but like do more than what these losers are doing, man.
Yeah.
And like. And at first, I guess it all kind of worked out that way, man. So like 27, I think it was 27, I was living at this farmhouse, which was awesome. I had some good friends, and they were all artistic. Everyone played music but me. I painted, and I guess that was my invitation into the cult. And then we had this cool farmhouse where we would have like bands come in that were on tour, like they're coming through New York and going up towards Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, right on like the Delaware Water Gap. And it was awesome, man. Like we all like bands would show up, they'd park their vans, we'd party, they'd play in our living room.
Oh, cool.
And and it was great. But I did that for a little while. I was always gardening, and I remember I forget what her name was, but there was these girls that were friends with the friends and stuff, and they're like, Brad, why don't you like go to culinary school? You're always cooking, you're always gardening. And I'm just like, you know what, getting a little older, man. And I started dating this girl who lived in New York in Brooklyn, and she's my wife now, and she had her shit together. She had a good job.
Dope.
Yeah.
She was making like, at the time she was making like $75,000, which sounded like a fucking million. You know what I mean? Like 70,000. And like, it's sad that's not that much money anymore, and it wasn't even that long ago. But point being, man, like it was refreshing to like date someone that wasn't a loser, and like it helped. Like even before I met her, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a loan out. I got my parents to co-sign on it, like a fucking loser. And I took this loan out and just winged it, man. Took a little extra money out to pay for room and board. And I found a little apartment on Craigslist with like 8 roommates. Right in Williamsburg, right off the L train on Graham and Lorimer by Fortunato's there. A legendary spot.
Damn.
Yeah, a great spot, man. We had a backyard with a fig tree in it. And I really stepped in shit, man. I never understood that saying, because stepping in shit kind of sucks. But like awesome people. I ended up being friends with them and like lived there for a bunch of years. And my girlfriend, she lived right down the road under the BQE off of Graham there, or what the hell is that road? Metropolitan. Oh no, anyway, down there by BQE Liquor. And and that's where I started going to culinary school, and that was just editorial. Well, the school wasn't, but my focus was. Like,
wait, editorial?
Yeah, like
what do you mean by
I
that?
jumped the gun a little bit. So like I went into it. I grew up cooking a little bit, and like my first jobs were at a deli and catering, and I grew up there was these ski resorts, Action Park and Hidden Valley up in northern New Jersey, legendary shitholes of ski resorts. If you can snowboard there, you can snowboard anywhere, man. It's like ice skating, and that's kind of where I grew up doing that stuff and working the lifts and stuff, and. Where was I going with this? But so I had a little bit of a background in cooking. Both my parents were good cooks.
Yep.
They didn't have a lot of money. They would get like good ingredients, but they had a little garden, so I was like exposed to what a green bean actually tastes like, or what a real tomato actually cooks like, tastes like. And they both cooked. That was like the main thing. Like,
what kind of stuff would you be cooking?
Me or my parents?
You.
When I was young, just whatever, man. I mean, I just kind of liked cooking. I guess I was always a big soup fan. I mean, when I was a young lad, sandwiches I think were the most like approachable.
Oh yeah.
Like cranking, you can get creative with it and do your own thing. And like sandwiches are, I mean, they're still a big deal, but it was good. It was a good gateway drug. And but both my parents, man, they were just like, my dad liked Creole food for some reason, just like
dope.
Yeah, like jambalaya and etouffee, and like he was like this. He's not like classically. He just for some reason had a hard on for that cuisine.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And my mom, she's like this sweet little woman, Italian, Irish background from New Jersey, and she just made the best chicken soup, and then just like the classic Italian stuff, And but that's where like I think the seed was planted. But
that food mattered, right?
Yeah. Well, just the importance of it, and like I can't like I guess like this core memory and just like foundation of me was like the importance of like we had to sit down and eat dinner. Like, we didn't watch TV, there wasn't phones or any shit like that, but like every night, man, even if it was like something boring, like she cooked something, and like that wasn't, she could have just made hot dog, which are fine, any food's better than no food, especially for kids, man. But like that was instilled in me how like special, even if I didn't appreciate it at the time. I think I did. But like just like trying to be a cop, man. I went to culinary school naively, being like, you know what, I'll go to this culinary school, and like, I'm not doing it to get into a restaurant, because I do believe if you want to just be a chef and run a restaurant and maybe own a restaurant or go down that crazy road, I would just go cut your teeth in restaurants. Save yourself thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, and just go cook and learn and actually get an education, and not just make something once, but actually learn how to cook.
Hands-on experience.
I tell all of my cooks and anyone who will listen, don't go to culinary school. I went for like 3 months and then dropped out. And it was like, because like when I went, I was like, I'd already become a sous chef. And like but I was like, I only know what my station partner taught me, and I don't know why. And so like I got sold on this, like, if you go to culinary school, I thought I was going to like the University of Food, where we would like learn about like what's happening and why it's happening and the thought process. And it just glorified cooking class. And especially with YouTube today. And there wasn't really that much YouTube cooking back when I went, but like it very quickly I realized it's like, this is nothing like cooking in restaurants, because I had been doing it now for years. And then you get out, if you go to culinary school, then you get out with like $30,000 to $50,000 in debt. And the first thing that happens when you start a restaurant, well, exactly. The first thing that happens when you work at a restaurant is they go, you went to culinary school? Great. Forget everything you just learned and do it this way.
They almost, I feel like most places don't even like it anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, and you're right, you don't really learn much. And what you don't learn, and I feel like I saw this a lot when I went to culinary school. It was like the boom. It was probably the end of the height of like Food Network and these TV people, like celebrity chefs and stuff. So it's like, man, you get everyone at home. I like cooking. I'm going to go to school and learn how to become a chef. But then you go into work a line in New York or anywhere for that matter, and like you get paid shit. It sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard work.
And back then you used to have to work for free.
It's hard work, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I've done a lot of work, and from paving roads to roofing houses, and like working a long day in a restaurant. And even if you like doing it there, even if you like the restaurant, even if you like the food and the people, it's still hard. Let alone most of the time you don't like the people and the restaurant, or you know what I mean? Like, especially when you start, I mean, you're lucky if you get into a place that you really, really, really feel inspired by and like to cook at, So I went into it being like, you know what, I'm gonna get a job at like, I'm gonna figure out like flavor profiles for Doritos, or like I'll go work for Unilever and like come up with the next like ice cream profiles for Ben and Jerry's.
That makes sense though. If you have that,
no, it doesn't though. Let me finish.
Okay.
Because like it turns out those people are food scientists who like have a doctorate in like chemical compounds and like, but like you know what I mean. Like that's regardless. That's like I wanted to do something other than just restaurants, and that's where I kind of got into like. And I remember saying this to this one handsome, tall Mexican dude. All he talked about was surfing, and I worked at the Standard Grill in the meat packing there in New York for a while. And when I was going to school, I'd work there at night. And I was always telling him like, man, you know what? I want to like get a job at a test kitchen, like one of these magazines like Food and Wine or Bon Appetit, and like just like Monday through Friday. And I just, it's not a line. We're not cooking for a service. We're just like developing stuff. And like the more like written approach to it, and like also cooking, but like it just seems like such a big market and such a big category. Food. I want to do something other than just restaurants. I can always go back to that. So they're always going to be looking for a new line cook.
How old were you when you had this realization that that might be what you wanted to do?
27, 28.
Okay.
27, I guess, 28. And then that's where, like, when school was up and they had a mandatory internship, thank God, because I probably wouldn't have got it or even done it for that matter. But we had to do one, and everyone was going to, like, you know, Gramercy Tavern or, like, you know, nice restaurants and, like, work for, like, these acclaimed chefs and stuff, which was awesome. And they teach their own, you know. But, like, I applied at Bon Appetit magazine. It was not too far from here when they used to be in Times Square, 4 Times Square, the H&M. Was it H&M? Is that the clothing?
Yeah.
H&M.
H&M.
H&M building right there in Times Square. And that's when they moved from LA, from Gourmet, and they became back to Bon Appetit, and they brought it to New York. And that's when I got in working there, man, as an intern.
That's rad.
It was just like washing dishes and just doing whatever, anything people wanted me to do. That's where I really learned. And this is, you know, I'm 5 months into living in New York. And that's when I really like learned to like get around the city a bunch and like and just in certain neighborhoods and certain like iconic grocery stores and markets. And like what was so cool about it is that it wasn't just like an Italian restaurant or a Lebanese restaurant, right? Like where we're kind of, even if the menu changes, we're kind of doing the same thing. Every week, every month was a new magazine, new issue, and they were doing so much cool stuff, man, from around the world, and all these different restaurants and chefs were coming. It was like kind of the coolest spot to like be. And like it was awesome then too, man. There was great people working there, and it was great. And then like, but this was still an internship.
Yeah.
And like all the other interns were coming right out of culinary school, and they were, you know, intern age, you know, 18, 19 years old or something. And I was,
and you were there as a young adult.
Yeah, and I had this like crazy haircut, and I had all this like work, you know, experience behind me, and like career change for that matter, and
responsibilities at this point.
Yeah, I got along with everyone, man. And like when I remember sitting there, I was washing dishes, and I'm a professional eavesdropper, and I'm washing dishes in one of the kitchenette things, and I hear the bosses talking, the Bobs as I always call them, and it was Hunter Lewis and I think it was Mary Frances Heck at the time, and I heard him talking like, yeah, you know what, we gotta. Because I wasn't an editor. There was all these editors, food editors that had like these real jobs that were developing recipes and testing them, and they're like, we're gonna have to get someone to like do what like, you know, these interns are doing. Like we're growing, we need like, it's a position, and they're like, should we just get like someone who's like young and fresh and hungry, or should we like get someone who's like, you know, it's their like second career, and this is just like a nice thing for them, and like, you know, easier to manage, and you know, and whatever, probably isn't going to look to grow. It's just like, and I remember just being like, I like was like, hey guys, like,
you're like, I'm both those.
Yeah, like, hey, sorry, I hear you guys talking, but like, if you're serious, like, I'll accept that job right now.
Yeah. So did you actually butt into the conversation and say that?
I did, and it wasn't like super aggressive, but it happened like, and they liked me. It wasn't. Yeah. I was like, if you guys are serious, I didn't take this internship just for like to say bye. Like, if there's a chance for a job, like I am definitely shooting for that. And
that's solid, man.
And they're like, cool, yeah, blah blah blah. And then eventually, like they offered me the job, and it was like this. It was a big deal. It was like the first new position they were creating, and it was very before like video was a thing and editorial was like everything. It was very structured and it was great, man. But like they were squared away. It's a hard job putting out a magazine every month, you know. So
what was the job about?
Yeah, it was basically the same thing I was doing. It was just a glorified dishwasher.
Okay.
But for me, it was just a foot in. I was like, man, like, if I can just get in, I'll work my way up. I'm not worried about that. Just let me get a job.
Just let me get in.
Let me get a job. Let me actually get paid.
Yeah.
And like not have to go work at a restaurant and try to figure this shit out again. Like I'm so close in the door. It was a miracle. I had nothing short out of it, man. I thank it. I'm not the best cook. I'm not the best anything, but I think it was just positivity, and I think people liked working with me. I always tell people that all the time. I was like, don't worry about being the best chef or anything like that. Like they'll teach you. Just be someone that like, don't be an asshole. And be someone that people want to spend half their week with.
And they feel like they can rely on.
rely on and trust. And again, I can't emphasize enough, just like, and not that I'm like the best, but like being with, you know what I mean? Like I've made the energy better in the kitchen. And I think it was, I honestly think that was why they hired me.
That's kind of like skateboarding, because like not everybody makes it to like the AM and the professional ranks, and everyone's like super good and super talented, but only a few people make it over, and it's because those few people have like good heads on their shoulders.
Makes all the difference.
Yeah, they're good to be around. They're fun.
I can only imagine
hang out with.
In your world too, you know, like especially when you started, you know what I mean, like. You weren't flying around in private jets or anything, you know what I'm saying? Like in a van, if you're lucky, you know what I mean? Like going to different things, not to explain your experience.
No, for sure.
But like and I've met a bunch of skaters, and a lot of them are assholes, man, right? So like having people that did have their shit together and a good head on their shoulder and weren't, you know, didn't suck to be around.
Yeah.
Is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. That's always like the first thing. It's like, you know, it's like trying hard and like, you know, being around and trying to be in that perfect place at the right time, which is kind of like what you did. You know, you went in there, you interned, and you're at the right perfect spot at the right time.
100%.
But not only were you at the right spot at the right time, you saw a clear shot and you took it.
Yeah.
Could have said
what I mean?
nothing.
You could have been quiet.
Yeah.
You could have, and maybe you could have been quiet and found another way in. But like, again, it's about that mindset of like, I want to get out of here. I want to change it. It's almost a visualization of like, I want to work for somebody like Bon Appetit. Fuck it, I'll take it for free. And then you just happened over here and you have the balls to just go, hey, I'm willing to do what it is to do.
Yeah. And I tell you what, man, people throw it around a lot, but it kind of, I mean, I think it's a blend of a few things, but I think visualization and positive mentality, I think are a real thing, man. I think it's not nothing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it don't make any sense. and like you said, I mean, I could have not been the person I am, and whatever. If they could have said no, and I could have done something else, and that would have been, thank God they said no, and like otherwise I would have never found this other blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So like that snowball can go anyway. But I do like what you're saying, where it's like capitalizing and just taking the risk.
You have to take the risk, and that's the thing, is a lot of people are afraid to like. I always talk about like, to find success, not only do you have to jump off the cliff when you can't see the bottom, but when you hit the bottom and you hurt yourself, you got to jump again.
Yeah.
And it's the second jump that's where you find success.
Or maybe the third or fourth.
Or the fourth or the fifth.
But point taken. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And I mean, you listen to any successful person, right? And it's become a cliche. And I love a cliche.
Yeah.
It's because there's usually
some
a
validity.
very strong foundation of truth to it. Where it was just like, you know, like, and you always say like, people, if I didn't fail, as long as and they kept going, that's when people found it for the most part. It's like a very similar story and thread that you hear from people, whether they're billionaires or pro skaters or chefs, you know.
Just resilience.
I think
Never
so.
giving up, you know.
Most overnight successes are more than a decade in the making.
Right.
You know, when we found our overnight success, my wife, who's my business partner and pastry chef, she liked to remind me then, or likes to remind me now, that like we became overnight successes at year 13.
Right.
You know, and because to everyone else, they're like, you know, or you look at a band that's like blown up, it's like, yeah, this is their 16th album, you know.
And the guitarist's 7th band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
There's always a road to the pop.
So, okay, so you go from being a basically glorified dishwasher for free to a glorified dishwasher for pay. And how do you continue to sort of grow yourself like in that, you know, in that building?
Yeah, for sure. It was great, man. So I think I took the job and I was stoked for it, but I think it was like $40K for the year, you know, living in New York. It wasn't, it was great, but it wasn't a lot of money, especially in New York. It's just a meat grinder for money, man. It just like takes your money. It's ridiculous. And so, yeah, just kind of was cranking away there. And then eventually I got a promotion as a test kitchen manager. So they hired another lady to do what I was doing, basically. And that's where I really got into like managing the kitchen and working with all the editors and doing all the sourcing and having an assistant and developing recipes and cross-testing recipes for editors and stuff. And it was a good gig, man, but it was starting to hit a little bit of there was a couple people wanting to get rid of me, and the one boss at the time, she wanted to get rid of me. They're like, do we really need Brad there? And people are like, you get rid of Brad, we're fucked. And then, long story short, they got rid of her. And then eventually, man, it just became, like, video started to become this thing. And, like, it was always still editorial. Magazine was still king. But then it started to, like, get kind of close. And then it was, like, videos running the game here. And that's really what saved my career there, because like I wasn't gonna be editor-in-chief. I wasn't gonna, you know what I mean? We'll see how far we could take this ride. I learned a ton. I was exposed to so many things. I learned so many different types of cuisines and ingredients, and met all these different contacts and people and relations. It was awesome, and I had this awesome foundation.
And I have to imagine most people who get into journalism, you know, they're not necessarily looking to be in front of the camera, or else they wouldn't have gone the journalism route.
Sure.
Right?
No, absolutely. And like, it wasn't even, when I was in school, it wasn't even culinary school. It wasn't even really a thing. Like, back to your point before, man, about like the right place at the right time. It really was. Like, if I did this, if I pulled this stunt 10 years later, it most certainly probably would not have worked out this way. Like, there was this boom of cooking on YouTube that I was late to, and Instagram. I was the last one in the company to get on social media, and my friends and stuff. And like, it just started to, I was doing all these projects in the test kitchen and fermentation and having all these different, I had a little nook that I set up for myself. And it was
sick.
Yeah. I remember at the time, like the creative director, what was his name? Anyway, and he was like, you know what, go just get a camera and go follow him around just go. And like, they sent us to this like media training lady, this like on-camera presence lady on the Upper West Side. And she was like, man, she was just like this plastic lady from like, she was like, you could tell she worked for like 30 years in like news anchoring or something.
She had the voice.
Oh, and she was like giving this course. I left there, I was just like, did someone give me acid? Like, what the fuck was that? Like, and we went back and like we did these like test videos, and I think they realized that was a waste of time or money. And I remember them just being like, whatever she taught you, just forget all that. Just go back to doing what you were doing. And then it just started to snowball, and we had such a cool pool of talent there, culinarily, and turned out everyone was pretty good on camera. So it became this like hive of video at the Bon Appetit Test Kitchen, and it was awesome, man. I made a lot of really good friends, and that's where I kind of like really hammered down on that. And like, at first I didn't like it, you know what I mean? Like, you watch a video of yourself, and like, I'm kind of goofy on camera. Like, I watch it, I was like, you can't put that up. Like, I look like an asshole, man. Like, that's what everyone sees every day. Like, that's what I'm doing. And but I kind of like chilled with that, and we like changed some of the edits and stuff, and like, it ended up just being really fun, and people started to like it, and it just snowballed from there. It became Condé Nast, which is the big publication company that owned Bon Appetit. Someone can fact check this if they give a shit, but I'm pretty sure I was the first full-time video employee in the entire company.
Oh, wow.
Which was huge. Damn. Yeah. And it was like cool now, because
how long from internship at 27 to full-time video employee?
Oh man, it had to have been 5 years, 6 years or something.
So really just putting your head down and fucking grinding.
Had to have been 6 years all day, because we moved to the World Trade Center, and then I worked there for a couple of years. I had a kid or two, so it was at least 6 years. And yeah, so for sure. And then video is relatively recent, you know. And then when that started to happen, it was great, man. And I didn't have to do any other of the other responsibilities. Like, they were like, just be in the kitchen. And just like, when it's your, and we'll figure out schedules. And listen, I made them a lot of money. We did some branded stuff that I'm sure they were getting paid a ton, and I was getting paid nothing. But like, eventually I got a good contract, man. And like, it was just this good thing. And then that company or that brand, as far as the test kitchen, kind of imploded on itself through some poor management decisions and some inner turmoils, which thankfully I didn't really have much to do with. That was just kind of the side effect of it. But it was like having this huge, like, we were in fifth gear winding out, man. And like, we were in talks with HBO. Things were going to be going great for everyone. And then all of a sudden we just like hit a wall, and like the whole thing fell apart. And
what happened? Do you know? Or
of course I know.
No, we don't.
I know. I shouldn't have. It's a big kind of like, I don't want to say dramatic, but it was just like, as this test kitchen became this hive of personalities, and as this role of video started to become this big value thing where people didn't necessarily sign up for, but the company was, I don't want to say exploiting, but kind of, making people do this work for as video. I was the only person who was getting paid technically for video work. Like I mentioned, I was the only, like they almost fucked up. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
And someone told them I was going to quit and they like freaked out and gave me like a gig, but like, which was a great bluff. But it imploded because I think what I'm trying to say is like, if you buy the person that sweeps your floor every day, fucking high end, the best broom you can get, goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you give them nothing and here's this piece of shit, keep doing it because it's your job, you're lucky to be here.
Yeah.
He ain't going to sweep that floor that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like what I'm trying to say is like they should have, in hindsight, if I was Mr. Condé Nast, Bon Appetit, whoever the fuck, I would have, compensate the people because you're selling the shit out of it. You're making a ton of money on them. Instead of making $7 million, make $6 million. Give everyone $50,000 bonus.
And they'll be so happy.
Doing cartwheels down the hallway.
Well, so that's kind of what so in Scratch Restaurants Group, my company, we like dishwashers get 401ks with a 5% match. Like everybody gets full benefits. The chefs are making six figures.
Because it takes a village, man.
Well, the thing was, it was like, I think it was Richard Branson who said, if you take care of your staff will take care of your company.
100%.
And so because I started out as a dishwasher turned line cook and my wife started as a pastry cook turned pastry chef, as soon as we took full control and had 100% of our company with no investors and no partners, it was like, we think like we don't need any more money. Like we're comfortable, not comfortable like driving fucking Lamborghinis, but like we don't need a lot to be happy. And so we're like, let's just invest everything in the team. And if we do that, they'll make a ton of money, but then so will we. So
all ships rise with the tide. Yeah.
The idea of like, don't make $7 million, make $6 million and invest in your team. It's not that that $1 million is not a cost. It's an investment because you're going to make $8 million the next year.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. And they didn't. So it kind of imploded, and it was like right before COVID. It was like this powder keg of all types of turmoil. People were upset. I think it was what was the guy out in Minneapolis? It wasn't George Floyd. Remember the cops killed that poor guy out in Minneapolis? It was that big, and like the country blew up, rightfully so.
George Floyd.
It was George Floyd,
the one
right?
that he kneeled at his neck.
Yeah,
George Floyd.
I confused that and the guy in Brooklyn all the time, but it was right when that happened, and then right when COVID, so like everyone was at home and watching, and rightfully so. People were on edge and pissed, man.
Yeah.
And like it just turned into this like it just fell apart. And then everyone was working from home. A lot of people quit. I just signed this contract. I didn't. I was like, man, I worked my ass off for this. I'm not.
You spent 6-7 years,
I didn't
right?
do shit wrong. I'm not fucking saying sorry or leaving my nice job. You know what I mean? And And whether that was the right decision or not, it was just a couple of years. And, in the last year, it just they kind of stopped doing it. And we weren't really doing much. And I moved up to right on the coast of Connecticut, Rhode Island border, and to where I live now. And then, eventually just my contract was up. And that was kind of, man, to be honest, I was just kind of squirreling away and setting up to launch and do my own production company, which is what I'm doing now. I call it Rising Tides Production, but you can't really find that anywhere. It's just what I call it.
Sure.
And it's just my YouTube, man, my social media and stuff, man. And I got a show called Local Legends and a show called Making It. Making It's like a cooking show that I do I bought an old farmhouse up on the coast of Connecticut there.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Gardening's always been one of my things. And so, I built a studio from this old structure that was there. We got a walk-in fridge, and it's like really awesome. You guys, open door anytime, man. We'll come cook up there.
Dude, I'm down.
And vice versa. I'm going to tell you about the thing I'm working on right now that you'll have to come out and check it out.
Don't forget. And and that's where I do Making It. We have guests, and it's mostly just me, man. Just like doing my own thing, and whether it's stuff I get from the garden or I do a lot of fishing. So I do, I try to incorporate as much of that as possible. And then the other show, Local Legends, which is great. It's more expensive to make, but I love doing it, man. It's like a travel show. It's
sick.
Yeah, so we go, and whether it's food or pro skateboarder or someone who's an amazing, glass blower like we did down in New Orleans a couple of years ago, just kind of digging, personality driven and character development, little mini doc. Everything I do is kind of long format. We're talking
I like that.
30 minutes. We were just down in Florida with this guy. The Python Cowboy is his handle, Mike Trapper. and he does invasive hunting, like for iguanas and pythons.
Wow.
Went down there, man. We were walking around in this hell of a landscape in the Everglades, and like I'm not really scared of snakes, but big snakes are, this thing's 10 foot. They start slithering around. They're using dogs.
Nope.
Barehanded caught it, man, and like with the help of them, and it was awesome. So like doing stuff like that, and then digging into like why they're doing it, and like and just how they are, conservationists of the area, and just pretty cool, just really cool stories, from a lot of agriculture and farming and regenerative agriculture. We're planning to do a video with Dan Barber, chef here from New York and up at Stone Barns, and Row 7, which is like their seed genetic company that he's doing. Been around for a while, making amazing produce. Most people probably have had it, don't even know it. Those little honey nut squash, those like little mini butternuts that everyone loves. Okay. They're delicious. I believe that was a Row 7 invention. But just doing cool stuff like that and like telling the story, because I feel like for the longest time, I was a TV kid, right? Like we were talking about, like when, as TV and these chefs were like these rock stars, like we missed, or I missed the boat, man. Like back in the late 90s, early 2000s, if I was as popular as I was, I would have been, we would have killed it, Bobby Flay shit or something, right? Like when TV was paying stupid money.
But what's amazing about now versus then, and although you don't, it's hard to capture being Guns N' Roses at the height of that time, right? It's crazy now that you can have an idea as a regular person, a successful person, but a regular person, and be like, I'm going to make my own TV show. And then go on YouTube and actually have your own TV show. Man. And then get more of an audience than fucking,
100%.
Than Fox is going to get or whatever.
By a lot.
I mean.
And it is crazy. Like I was a pretty weird, unique, where I was like, I got in it at the right time, kind of, and it was this right platform with the right people. It wasn't just Brad in his mom's basement or studio apartment. Yeah. Where I was like, you know what, I like making pizza. I'm going to make a pizza video. Yeah. Like this, I wasn't really looking for this.
You were trying, yeah.
I was just trying to like not fail, but like, and pay my loan back and do something. I got to do something. And like, this seems great, so like it worked. And then like, as I got, and I never thought I was that good at it. I'm still getting better at it, talking to a camera, but I feel like I've come a long way. And as that kind of developed, man, it's been what a blessing and what an awesome. And you're 100% right. Like that's the beauty of the internet, right? It can be negative, and it often is for a lot of people, and it can be this toxic place. But man, oh man, it also can be like this really incredible place of information sharing and YouTube. I mean, it is the new TV.
Creativity as well, dude.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing your shows for?
For about 4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah.
And how did that? I mean, so it's one thing to be put in front of a camera in another person's studio, right?
Another person's studio, another person's dime.
And that's that's the big one I was going for. It's one thing, I'll talk from my own experience. It's one thing to be a chef in someone else's restaurant. You fuck up food costs, maybe you get fired, but you're not filing for bankruptcy. Right. So like how do you transition from being in front of the camera, someone else's dime, someone else's studio, to like sort of starting your own, because you mentioned you have a production company like that, like was that incredibly like a grassroots kind of like startup thing? Did you take out another loan? Like that has to cost a lot of money, and now you're doing things like the actual like the video and the editing and things that you probably weren't doing for Bon Appetit.
Paying for it all anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So like, and to your point before, you don't have to do that. What's great is like if you're at home and you know how to edit a little bit, and like the technology, you could do everything for very low. Yeah. And it could blow up. And people ask me all the time, I was like, do it on your phone and edit it yourself. Like, don't do what I'm doing, because it's crazy. Like,
you're like full on
production. 3 editors, and like we're shooting long format, and it's expensive. But to like answer your question, I just kind of scrolled away with it, and I've always been a big fan of like the run and gun style of production. I think you can get into a lot more cracks, and people open up a bit more. We're still pretty, we show up. We're low impact, but we still got, there's 2 cameras, and it's basically just me, a couple folks, my manager Carolyn, and who's been with me since Con Day, and we're just kind of cranking along. It was scary for sure, man. Like, you start hearing, especially travel, if you just want to make, episodes about making sushi or 12 different types of lobster rolls at your house, like It's not that bad.
A little easier.
You know what I mean?
But if you got
easier
to
to
fly
do.
to several different cities and, you know, put your team up.
And plan all the stuff and pay for it all. It's
Yeah.
like I wouldn't, and I have a good fan base, but like I wouldn't be able to do it without really awesome brands that I worked with, like Yeti or Decked or Traeger and Gosney and Extra Tough. Like I can't say enough, man. They really long-term ambassadorships working with those guys have really helped me, and that's the fact that they care and believed in me to do these types of videos as opposed to just viral, you know, short format TikTok fodder, which is great. We all consume it, and I like some of it, but like I was a kid of TV, and I wanted to make that like dirty job, Bourdain, how it's made type of show. And I think we're doing a pretty good job, man. And it made sense to quit a bunch of times, I guess. I don't know what the heck else I do, but like.
Yeah, what's that like? Like, what are some of the like the things you've ran into, if you have, like, in terms of like when you have found yourself being like, fuck, maybe I should try something else? Like,
well, it's just I don't know what else I'd try. I mean, I got a pretty unique kind of skill set, and you know, and there's a good community. I'd probably get into food or farming or work with some of my buddies or something. Who the hell knows, man? But like, I guess it's just that like every year, just kind of figuring out like, all right, we can always do making it. We can always do something. It's just like, are we going to grow in the way of spending more money, or are we going to continue to make the content and just evolve into a more run and gun kind of, you know, at the end of the day, I can make videos with one person. Yeah. That's, you know, when I first started, it was me and this one kid that was working at Bon Appetit. I think he was doing the damn editing too. Like, you can get some kid from, you know, who's going to Providence or some like college who's a whiz, who was just like, kids these days are so much better than I'm, you know, like it's nothing.
They can edit so fast.
And probably do it with a smile. You know what I mean? Like, so I think there's always a will and a way, and I think I've built enough of a brand of myself to where I could continue to make stuff. We're gonna start. I think they would be cool to do like some types of products or something like that. You know, I'm kind of always slow with that. I don't even have merch yet. You know, or like I don't really sell anything like that yet. But
do you have like storyboards like kind of set in place, and like kind of like
Google Docs,
ideas of videos that you want to do
coming up and stuff? To be honest, I got a whole list of ideas. You know what I mean? I'm a big Google Doc Drive guy.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I got a whole 50-page local legends and making it. Every time I get an idea, I meet you guys. I mean, right then, maybe one day we'll do it. Yeah. So like when I need something, it's more just coming up with the money, man.
Yeah. And like putting it together.
We have a good fan base and a good Google AdSense, which is how like YouTube pays people.
Yeah.
But it's not, as of now, it's not paying. It wouldn't pay the bills of what we're doing. Like I wouldn't be able to do what we're doing, like I said, without sponsorships of buying into episodes or seasons for that matter. And like Deck, they're a draw system for pickup trucks, you know, big with like construction guys and hunting guys. They're all over the place. But man, they bought in the 2 seasons of Local Legends.
That's so dope.
And and Yeti bought the first one when I like, just because I've been working with him for a while.
Yeah.
And like,
that's so rad.
I mean, you know it, as skateboarding, man, like that was a big deal.
It's like sponsorship.
And like in hindsight,
literally,
in hindsight, they got a good deal.
Right.
Yeah. But like, man, it was such a pivotal make or break kind of deal for me too. So it was like, I'll be grateful for brands like that forever, man. Like,
yeah, man.
So it's pretty cool.
So when you first started, did you have like a sponsorship out the gate, or did you have to start it all first and then ended up getting a sponsorship?
Yeah, so I was doing it anyway, and then I was shopping it around the brands that I've been working with.
So you already went and started shooting stuff.
Yeah, and we shot a couple, and it was just kind of putting this team together, and I'm just funding it all out of my pocket, just throwing up
whatever money you saved. From
right, and like I got a house and kids,
you got kids,
and stuff, and like I got some overhead already.
Yeah, and that's another thing where it's like that's what I'm talking about. It's about sort of like just taking the jump. You don't know what's at the bottom. Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
you've got to pay for your kids. You got to pay for the house. You got to take care of everything. Yet you're throwing money at this thing you've never done before, just with the faith that you're not going to die.
Well, I got to do something, right? Like, this is what we're doing, you know? Yeah. And it worked out, man. So like then you know, the sponsors for the first season were huge, and then it allowed me to grow and get some really cool you know, pay some people to be on with me that were friends of mine. But I get it, man. Like, just to travel out alone and hotels and dinner and, you know, it all adds up.
Well, especially out here, too. Woo.
Yeah.
The hotels out here are insane.
Crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Don't even get me started with that and the resort fees.
I know. It's so wild.
It's out of control. But yeah, man, it's been an awesome ride, and like it's scary. It's still scary now. I've always had that feeling where I was just like, man, this can all just kind of go away next year. You know what I mean? Like be selling fucking sheetrock at Home Depot or something. I don't know.
But it's so wild that people can do that nowadays.
It's amazing.
It's just create your own thing and make your own like movies and stuff for people to watch. You know,
and if it's good and it works, and listen, great things die all the time, and never blow up, and the guy or the woman or the person never becomes this person, and they're making way better shit. But in just like podcasts or anything, I got in a little early, right? And like now, and it's a double-edged sword, right? But like now, I couldn't imagine. You'd have to really stand out to blow up now, because there's so much good shit, and there's so many people trying to do it. It's like the number one desired job in youth to like be a YouTube creator or something, which is bonkers. And like,
and the barrier for entry is nothing.
It's nothing.
Is having a laptop.
It does if it works, and that's what like all these people are losing their minds about. And like there's all these old rules and format. No one gives a shit if you make a video about fucking writing your name, people's poems on the leaves of these things. If it does well on the internet, who gives a shit?
It does well. Yeah. And then everybody wants to throw money at it, and everybody wants to be a part of it and sponsor it.
And the money is just sharks, man. You know, and whoever's got the most blood in the water, they're coming. You know, they want it.
That's awesome. So tell me a little about like, because you said you do a lot of gardening and a lot of like the show about like stuff that you're hunting and you're fishing. I don't think you said hunting, but fishing, and you are hunting too. Well, then you know what I said I was going to tell you about this project. So I actually have about 4 acres right outside of Austin. Cool. And little 19th century like pioneer style log cabin, planting the whole grounds. Going to do like
how's the soil?
How's the soil?
Yeah.
I think awesome. I had it like tested and everything, and I had some local like a local farm that my restaurants out there work with. They came out, they checked it.
You said west of Austin?
Yes. Yeah.
Like out in like the hill country, like Fredericksburg?
In Dripping Springs.
Cool.
Yeah. So you know where where Fitzhugh? Okay. Well, like 25 minutes from downtown Austin, but like in the start of hill country where like all of like the wineries and distilleries and everything. But the idea of this restaurant is it's going to be a tasting menu that only serves what we grow, what we hunt, what we fish. And it kind of made me think of what you're doing in terms of like I have a structure on the property that I'm working with Dry Ager because I'm an ambassador for them. Cool. They're going to turn the entire structure into a Dry Ager so I can bring whole animals and hang them and all that kind of stuff. And I've had this idea of like, instead of doing like winemaker dinners like all the restaurants do, I'll do like guest chef dinners where like I bring someone in. We'll take a week and go hunt or fish or whatever and then do a menu with them, but also like work with people like Cam Haynes or, you know, like somebody who will go and like, instead of like a winemaker dinner, do like a hunter series.
Yeah, you got to have Jesse Griffith in, man. Yeah. He's buddy down there in Austin.
Yeah, Daidui.
Yeah, Daidui, man. And he's got that school of New Age cookery. But he does that with the whole hogs and the turkeys and stuff. But I love that model you're talking about, man. Yeah. That sounds exciting.
Maybe you got to come out and do a dinner with us.
I would love to, man. And I would love to pick your brain, too. You mentioned the Dry Ager. I dabble a bit. Red meat seems to be, I've done pretty well with it, and I do pretty well with fish. But I built like a walk-in fridge, and I do it in there, and I hang it. I struggle. Struggle's not the right word, but my biggest issue is humidity, I think.
Dry agers are really expensive, right?
But it's like a set it and forget it, right? Is it control everything?
Yeah, so it actually is a pretty, like for over a decade I've been hanging ducks and just the regular walk-in or, you know, but like actually, so it's a couple of things. One, the temperature sits at like 34.5 degrees. So it's like it's almost freezing, but it isn't. So it's slowing it down a lot. It has UV lights. To basically kill bacteria on the surface. So you're not
getting any bloom in there then?
Very little.
Okay.
And then it controls the humidity and there's salt blocks.
Okay.
And so all of those things like...
and the salt blocks are just wicking moisture?
Correct. Okay. So like if I take...
Salt blocks?
Yeah. So if I take like a salmon and I hang it in my walk-in, or if I take a salmon and I hang it in my Dry Ager, it's I don't know if it's night and day, but it's night and dusk. You know what I mean? It's noticeably different and noticeably better.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, I guess, controls everything, right? You're just
100%. I mean, that's the thing is like, it is kind of a set it and forget it. But I'm very interested to see like when we do, because like most of the dry agers are just a single door and you can only fit so much. But they have this new unit that like, I mean, it's bigger than this room, and they'll have the whole thing. So I'll be able to like go shoot a deer, skin it, and then just hang the whole fucking.
That's what I'm doing. Deer, everything.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I shot an elk and I hung the hind end in it for 100 days. And it looked like blue cheese on the outside.
Oh wow!
But the inside, yeah, and white. But it smelled like blue cheese. Like it was. Damn. But the inside was like it worked perfectly. It was just like a 1/4-inch crust.
Yeah.
And then just like vibrant red on the inside, and it was everything. Every muscle group tastes like backstrap. It was. It was so incredible.
A lot of my friends hunt, and I'm newer into actually pulling the trigger myself. But it was kind of one of those things where it's like. I've wanted to have a restaurant where I hunt a long time.
Start with rabbits.
I've done those, right? and I can break down whole animals, but it's like I need to go actually try this, make sure, because I can't just if a life is gonna be taken and I'm gonna do all the butchery and everything, then I have to be able to take the life, and that's where it sort of started.
Someone's doing the hard work somewhere, and it's usually not a better story than what you're doing.
And what I really learned was like none of my friends who hunt have a fucking dry ager,
right?
That's pretty. And so like it's not like the last one that I shot, which was the first one that I ever hung in a dry ager. It was the best piece of meat I've ever had in my life, and it wasn't. Just because like the personal relationship I had with the animal, that has something to do with it. But I was like, this meat,
the flavor, the texture, the smell,
unbelievable. You have to age.
It's unbelievable. I hang absolutely everything, man, and I've really started to geek out with it. And fish because I live by the ocean. I got a boat. I do a decent amount of spear fishing and just regular fishing. And I love cooking fish, and I love eating it. And man, it's such a difference. Everything. When you hear people, whether it's fish or wild game, I don't like deer, it's real gamey, or I don't like fish, it's real fishy. 99.9% of the time, it's the handling from when it was shot or when it was off the hook. How it was treated, what it was placed in, and like how it was cooked for that matter. But it really, like fish, you get the blood out and like treat I don't even put them on ice anymore. I just use ice packs and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially
because the ice,
water.
it waterlogs it.
Yeah, and then you think about it. I mean, like even a whole fish. I guess I'm kind of splitting hairs, but like you think you have like a fillet of fish, and man, I've seen a billion guys do this: fillet their fish, wash it down with a hose after. And it's just completely that fish has never in its life touched fresh water, or any water for that matter. It's in a sealed unit.
Yeah.
So you hit it with this fresh water, which probably has chlorine in it, and it's just like you see. It's just you get that pneumonia smell, and it just everything gets like fishy and nasty, and it just goes to hell, man.
Yeah, you're never supposed to. I am vehemently against like washing your fish.
Oh, you can't. Stop
it. But everyone thinks like, well, they live in the water. Why wouldn't I just put? What matters if it gets wet?
Right.
And the way that I mainly explain to my cooks is like if you put even like if I'm gonna cook a lobster, right? I'll never boil it. I'll steam it. But
every time.
But you never ever shock it in ice water,
right.
Because what do you end up with? You end up with lobster flavored water and water flavored lobster.
100%.
So you take the lobster, for anyone at home, you take the lobster, a little tiny bit less than you would normally cook it, and stick it in your fucking freezer,
right?
And let it finish in there and cool down quickly.
Well, that's a good tip.
Yeah, because then you really get the flavor. But it's become so normalized to like just like somebody goes and hunts and they put it in a cooler with ice, and by the time they get home, like it's now swimming in water, and that's not what to go through a proper rigor mortis. You're like in the water. It doesn't happen. Hydroponically.
Right.
It needs to be dry.
Yeah. So I hang the fish now, man. I'll bleed them on the boat, scale them on the boat, cut the gills out, and on the ice packs. When I go home, I used to hang them from the head up. Now I do it from the tail up. And I feel like the drainage makes sense. Instead of it all pooling down towards the tail, it comes through the main arteries where the gills would be.
Yep, and it comes out that way.
Man, I get fish like bluefish, for a perfect example. People love it, but they also talk shit about it. And it can be this mushy gray. You bleed that thing out, hang it for 2 days. The meat is like, it'll firm up because it'll wick off a lot of moisture, and all that blood, everything just kind of falls out, and it becomes this like off-white. It doesn't even look like bluefish anymore. It's phenomenal. It's night and day, and like that's where I'm at as a chef now, man. Like between gardening and hunting, or I'm just
perfecting it.
Well, and it's just I'm really. I mean, I fuck things up all the time. It's really just like geeking out over high quality ingredients. Like it's really just, that's everything. And then it's just 10 different principles, 10 different techniques that you kind of do and then you're just playing, then you're just cooking. And it's like, for me, it's like, man, just give me a perfectly grown radish or a fish that someone caught from the second it came out of the water to where you're going to cook it cared. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like that, I geek out with it, man. And like the outcome is, it's phenomenal. It's like I can't go back.
Well, you let the quality talk for itself. Like
That's
speak
it.
for itself, basically.
Yeah, especially in food. I mean, like we're just manipulators. You know what I mean? Like everything has to be the best that you can get. I mean, I know I'm in a little bit of a bubble, but we're not talking about solving the world's problems right now. We're just talking about cooking.
But if we ate better, we'd have less problems.
We sure would, man. Oh heck yeah! I mean, that's a rabbit hole and a half.
Root of all.
I mean, I like a good cliche, right? And like food is medicine is like one of the best ones. I mean, it's so true. And like, listen, I'm not perfect, man. I drink too much, and sometimes I'll get a little high, eat some ice cream at night or something. And,
you got to live.
Yeah.
You got to enjoy yourself.
Man, like having good food and like. And like I got some kids now too, and like feeding them and introducing them to good food, it's just like it's everything. And I get excited for the seasonality. You know what I mean? Like the industrialization of food really kind of fucked everything up for everyone. I mean, it's good in a lot of ways, but like people say they don't like tomatoes, and it's like, why don't you like tomatoes? Because you had some mealy white shitty one that was in a warehouse for a month in February, and no one likes that. It sucks. You know what I mean? But if you get one that was in August from September, and it's picked off the vine, and it was grown in awesome soil and just cared for, it's you could see why it's a fruit, man, because it's like. It's I don't understand how someone would not like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I notice it a lot because I'm on the road. I'm on the road a lot. And when I'm at home, I eat really, really clean. Like when we're home for us as a family is almost like vacation because I'm on the road so often. And when I'm on the road, we talk about this all the time. It is so difficult to eat clean, and it's so difficult because I might not eat till 1 o'clock in the morning. Where am I going to eat clean at 1 o'clock in the morning? And so like when I'm home, I just feel so much healthier. And that's because I'm eating like quality food, not deep fried, not with a bunch of oils. But the thing is, if you just live the life of chips and Diet Coke and Burger King, well, but you don't even know because you don't know how much. See, I can feel a difference because I go back and forth. But if you just, that's why everyone's like, well, I'm getting older, my back hurts. That's because my dad did that. My friends do that. Everyone's back hurts because you're this. It's like, yeah, but if you just really started to change the way you eat, that would change so much.
Eat and maybe move around.
Yeah. I mean, definitely.
Yeah. It turns out listen, I got to get in shape, fat bastard. But yeah. I mean, I'm preaching to myself here, but like, you're right, man. It's like, it does change the way you feel, change the way you look. And, I think we could all do better at it. And it is hard on the road, man. Like you really got to put an effort in. And it's like one of those things when it's easy to like stop somewhere, get even if it's a good spot, you end up getting like the fries with your sandwich or something. And like they kind of suck.
We were good today. We didn't get fries with our sandwiches.
No, we didn't.
That's the move. I did. I fucked up.
We did okay.
They sucked. They were soggy and oily.
No.
It's the worst oil in the world. Not even you're not even supposed to eat it, and they're just like bubbling everything in it.
No, we had some good corned beef sandwiches at S&P over in Flatiron.
Oh, awesome. Nice. Heck yeah.
I was gonna say some of the best dry, a little bit taking it back. Some of the best dry aged meat was from a friend's company called Brunson Meat. If you ever have a chance, you should check that out.
Where are they at?
Denver, I believe.
Brunson.
Yeah, and it all of his meat on Instagram, it's just like covered in white fur, and it tastes like blue cheese.
So they go hard as fuck.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, people will start to not like that too. For some folks, it's like a line.
Yeah,
and I get it. everything, and it comes down to personal preference. I'll check them out. That sounds amazing.
It's amazing.
Because I can kind of do the full spectrum of it.
He does these pork chops too that are just like insane.
Not enough people age into pork, man. I mean, I know everything's hung a little bit, when you're getting them from these massive producers, nothing's like killed and shoved in a bag. Like that's what a lot of people don't understand. Even beef, I think, is hung for like 2 weeks before it hits, your supermarket.
It has to.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you can taste when it does, because sometimes there's these ranches who like you buy directly from them, and you're like, this looks amazing. Why is it tough and string? And it's because they're slaughtering, and then they're free, and then they're freezing right
in
there.
that stressed slaughter state instead of that relaxed post rigor.
Yeah.
And it makes like perfect example. And this was a rookie move. I did it. I knew I was doing it, but I shot a deer this year. And I was hanging it, and I was like, that day of just in excitement, I was like, I'm gonna cut a little piece of the tender or the back strap off. I forget why I did it, but I cut a little piece off and I cooked it, and I was like, man, it's tough. And the back strap's never tough, and it's literally just because it was that fresh. Same with like fish, I really do find, and everything has a peak. You know what I mean? Like I do a tog or a black sea bass or something. Like 7 days, I find it to be kind of perfect. I've gone 2 weeks, and like. Once you get to that stage with certain fish, I find like it's good, but I don't think it's better anymore. But it all depends on the species.
Plateaus out after a while.
Like, and I think it'll start to degrade. I mean, you're really just kind of halting and manipulating, rot essentially, like decomposition.
I never knew that. I never knew meat is like stiff because of the rigor mortis right in the beginning.
Oh yeah, you see it in an animal or a fish or something. You pull it out of a cooler and it looks like a U. Yeah, and it's hard as a rock, and it's because it's just all rigored out. You know?
So you got to kind of wait for it to almost start
it'll naturally
decomposing.
Well, just relax and realize that it's dead, right? And like, I mean, I'm just speaking from experience. I don't really know much of the scientific backing.
For sure,
but I think that's what it is where things just start to fall apart and or just relax and. Starting to, if it was warm out and you weren't in a walk-in or a dry ager or you were laying in a forest, like you'd start to just, get eaten and grow mushrooms and shit. For sure. So we're preventing that in the walk-in or the dry ager with humidity and temperature and just allowing that body to naturally enzymatic start to like do its thing. Yeah. To my understanding.
Yeah. Essentially you're essentially what you're doing is it's like the dehydration process of, because like it dies, it's super tight, and then the blood comes out, and then essentially starts to like over time starts to dehydrate, and as it like once you start aging, and the dehydration actually starts to like break down the connective like the muscle tissue a little bit to make it softer, and then bacteria starts to set in, which actually starts to like eat at the connective tissue. And then for me, I try not to age things to the point where I have to trim.
Right.
So like what I'll do is I'll age a whole loin, like a whole muscle, and then I'll cut those down into steaks and I'll age those. And then depending on what it is, I'll freeze them. Cryovac freeze. And I'll find that there's like this cross section between like the right texture and the right flavor, because you need the aging to get the right texture, but too much aging can give you too much flavor sometimes. And so like I'm a big fan of like taking a bite of whether it's a fish or a steak. You get the flavor more in the fat. When you get the flavor in the fat and it's got just a little bit of like oomph to it,
a little umami,
like I love that when the lean muscle starts to have that flavor, and then therefore the fat starts to have like what we call sort of like blue cheese flavor. For me, you've kind of, I mean, there's a time and a place for everything. We go to a nice restaurant, we have it, I'm going to eat it all and enjoy it, but my preference is to not lose sight of the actual ingredient that we've started with. So it should still taste like a deer, or it should still taste like
with
beef.
a little hint of
little subtlety.
Think of it as seasoning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little subtlety, and like anything, right? I mean, it's balance, right?
Yeah,
exactly. And some people like that blue cheese 120-day steak or something like. Yeah. The bite or two, it's often too much, in my opinion, right? But like to your point, where it's just kind of kind of perfect, and just like has a little subtlety of it where if you didn't know what was going on, you might just be like, this has like a little richness to it.
Yeah, it's an interesting spice rub you put on this. A little funky.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, man, and I think that's a really fun way to approach protein.
Yeah. So where are you, like, what's next? What are you working on right now?
Yeah, still cranking on doing the on YouTube, man, and it's been awesome. We're just halfway through season 3 of Local Legends.
Dope, dude.
Yeah, we have a video coming out in a week or two. We were down in New Orleans with a good friend of mine, Anna, and her sister Lydia Castro, and they have a Mexican restaurant down there, Acamaya, and I believe that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if it's not right. I'm the worst. But no, I think that's it. And it's just, man, amazing. We were down there and just spent the day with the two of them, and they're just a duo. Anna does the front of the house. She does back of the house. She's cooking. She does front too. I mean, she's this big personality. And her sister is like a behind the scenes kind of front of the house, and just a really cool dynamic. And the food was just phenomenal, man.
Really?
Like,
where is this?
It's in New Orleans.
Okay.
And their staff was just, they were a family, and they all cared, and they were all just like the head fish guy. He trained down in New Orleans under, what's his name? The fucking fish butcher guy. What's his name? Peter Nealon. Mm-hmm. Is that his first name? Peter Nealon? Or Josh Nealon.
The dude from Australia or whatever? Okay, yeah.
Who like really started to blow up and get like fame for dry aging fish.
Yeah. And treating it like it's like and all like the beef cuts.
Yeah, really cool like ribeyes of swordfish, and I don't think he invented anything. I don't think he claimed to, right? I'm sure it's from Japan
but he definitely put it on the map.
Oh, he definitely blew it up and geeked out with it, and knows his shit, it seems. But he learned a bunch there, and they kind of bring some of that back to their aging fish, and we were really cutting up this aged cobia, which is a really awesome fish that I don't get up north. And and some grouper and a tuna we were breaking down. So it was just, and the food was just phenomenal. I find myself like certain meals you like daydream about.
Yeah.
And I want to go back just to
See, this sounds like the good end of like the double-sided sword of like how easy it is to get your hands on any sort of like with the internet, right? With YouTube, with Instagram, like now trends hit so fast. With aging your fish, with and it sounds like these girls, right, are doing it really, really well. Every once in a while, you go to a restaurant where like you see the food and you're like, oh, these guys have heard of Frankland,
right?
Like these guys have heard of Noma, and then you eat it and you go, I wish they would have just like went and tried to learn how to cook that, as opposed to just making it look like what it looks like on the internet.
Some big shortcuts there.
Yeah,
yeah. No, yeah, they're studs down there, man, and what a fun city. We had a blast down there just shooting and telling that story. We're going out, a good friend of mine, we're doing an episode coming up, out in Portland, Oregon. Elias Cairo from Olympia Provision, big charcuterie maker, restaurant guy out there, one of my favorite human beings. And, man, he's just like a champion of everything he uses is actual pasture-raised pork, and just like how rare that actually is in America. Happy pigs that are out there rooting around and not in confined. You see what a lot of these pig farms are. Most of them, it's horrendous, man. Like most protein in this country and world, for that matter. When you look into, except for all these smaller operations that are really doing great work, like the big producers, the stuff you're getting, the stuff my mom was buying. It's horrendous, and so being able to, we're going to go chat with him and how he got started, because it's such an incredible story. And then from like pro snowboarder into like learning how to make charcuterie out in the Swiss Alps and stuff, and like just really crushing it. He makes such a phenomenal product, and we're going to take a trip out to one of his head farmers that is just doing, the right stuff with pigs, and kind of everything I'm doing on this show is just trying to hopefully kind of tell stories and push the envelope on topics that I think are super important. There's plenty of flashy, fun, best mac and cheese in the city, and like that's cool, man. I'm not knocking it.
Yeah.
But like I'm just I'm trying to do something different.
I like that.
Is the plan to like turn the channel into something that has like a lot of different shows on it?
Yeah, I would love to. Great question, man. I would love to. I mean, in a perfect world, I would even love to like help people Like, I would love to have my own network or something.
Yeah, like
you know
have
what I mean?
some other people.
Yeah,
do
like
shows
there's
and
so
stuff.
many other talented people that I think would be great at it, and like if they had a chance or something, or a little bit, like it's a lot to like all of a sudden start doing it and get into it and try to monetize it and like
and to host multiple shows.
Because I see so many people online just making all these like really thought out like Instagram reels and TikToks. I'm like, these people are not getting paid to do this. Like they're just cranking this shit out, like editing it on their couch, and like there's a million people, probably 50 million, that would love, you know.
That's a really dope idea.
It's a hard one. A lot of people I think have tried. I think it's difficult
to kind of give back and bring someone in.
Yeah, especially because I'm in the middle of nowhere. I think it would be like I would love to do it where wouldn't need you to come into the office. Or like shoot at your house. Don't stop doing what you're doing. But maybe we can all like work together.
And would there be like a problem with like consistency of like the quality of camera used and stuff like that?
No, I mean I don't think people care.
Yeah,
I think people making it care more than the people that are watching it.
I mean, look at what we're doing right now, right? Yeah. So like YMH is where we shoot in Austin, and we're not in Austin right now. And
that's right.
The production team, the editors, they're not here with us, but this will all digitally go back to them. They'll package it, they'll do the whole thing, and it will hit the internet no differently than had we been sitting in Austin.
Back
so
in
I mean,
Austin,
I mean, you could you could find someone who you're like, hey, this guy or girl has an awesome eye for it. They do it great. You guys shoot it, even if you edit it, then you put it onto my, you give it to me, I put it on my platform.
Yeah.
And now it's,
like a little hive of something.
Yeah, I mean, not everything's shot at Netflix Studios, that goes on Netflix.
And nor should it be. Nor do we want that.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that would be dope.
Yeah, I think that's an idea, man. I'm a sucker for a brick and mortar concept. I mean, I got some buddies up in the Mystic, Connecticut area on the coast. My buddy Dan, who's got some really awesome restaurants out there, and chefs and team and stuff. And this really incredible farm, Stone Acres, right by the ocean. And they do really incredible things. I would love to, I love the idea of having a spot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to work it every day or be like the head chef there every day, but like have me be very much a part of it, you know, and do events and just somewhere where like people can go and hang out and get good food and some drinks and on a farm or something like that. So that's something I'd like to do.
I think that's the direction that restaurants are going to start going. Like there'll be chefs who move just outside of the city and do that type of thing.
Yeah. If it hasn't already begun, I think it has, right? And that's always I'd love maybe one day do another cookbook. It took a while that was a hell of an experience and it was awesome. But like, I would love to do it again. I think I could do it a lot better. But right now, man, I'm focusing on the YouTube stuff. It's been keeping me pretty damn busy and just working with brands and stuff and traveling. I love traveling and I'm grateful, but I also kind of hate it.
Yeah.
Like there's so
you
much.
want to be home.
Kind of want to be home, man. Like there's so much stuff to do. Like, and like, like I got a couple kids, like I said, 2 boys.
Yeah.
And
how old are they?
9 and 7.
Oh yeah.
And like my one son just had this field trip and it was at the Rhode Island salt pond right by the ocean there. And they were going and like netting and catching fish. And I had to come down to New York to do this work thing, which awesome, super grateful for. But I was like, man, it fucking sucks, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to go do that. And like, but just focusing on the YouTube and working with folks. I got a podcast coming out.
Sick.
Nice.
I totally forgot about that.
What's it called?
It's called Lay It On Me. Lay It On. And it's just conversation about how people got to what they're doing and where they're at.
Awesome.
Just going down rabbit holes or whatever. And it's been awesome, man. I think we're putting it out in July.
Sick.
And been shooting a bunch now.
Nice.
I have to have you guys on and
love to.
Super.
Because I'd like to pick your brains on the other side here.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man, it'd be a blast. I got that one we're working on, and just staying alive, man, and trying to be better at it all, I guess.
Hell yeah. Well, you already sort of started answering. We always have this final question as we sort of wrap up with everybody. You've already started to sort of touch on it, so I feel like it's a good time to to actually ask. So like what we talk about is like, especially for somebody who is able to sort of like, we talked earlier about like having sort of like this like, not like visionary, but like to be able to like picture what you want and actually try to like envision yourself there. Magic lamp on the table, genie comes out, you can design your life 10 years from now?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I think I'm asking the right person.
If I put some thought through it, I could come up with a really good plan. But I always said, man, I would just be really good at being filthy rich. Like, if I had a ton of money, man, like, I really like real estate. I really like a lot of things. And I think if I, like, people say, man, if you'd be bored if you didn't have a job, you have to work. Fuck you. I got so much shit I'd love to just do. I'd be so busy. And just like helping people, you know what I mean? I think not to sound so superficial, but like the world, unfortunately, is access. A lot of great access comes from the ability to not care about going to work or putting food on the table, right? Like, it's what a luxury to have this creative freedoms and a job that I do have. And not that you can't, but like, man, when you got a family and a lot of people, let's face it, guys, are doing a lot worse than we are, right? Like, and like having, just go home and make a YouTube show. Like, man, not a lot of people have time for that. Or like whatever, they go home and start pottery. Like, give me that unlimited funding, man, I'll be doing all the hobbies and have all the sweet spots all over the world, and it would be great. But I guess if I had to dial it back from the genie crazy, just give me $1 trillion request, I'll figure everything out. It would be, like kind of like what I was just like pipe dreaming describing about, having that like really awesome. I didn't go into too much detail about it, but I want to have I love greenhouses, and I think it'd be a really cool space for like a beer garden or a restaurant or some type of a brick and mortar on a farm. Traveling less, but traveling more in ways too. You know, I think that would be pretty good. If YouTube, I mean, in a perfect world, if it, and we're doing pretty well, right? But if it blew up or got picked up and allowed me to have my wife quit her job too and work for me and have this, or us, I should say, and build out a team like that and just do more fishing and spend more time with friends and family and I guess work less. So I think I would, to answer your question, $1 billion, and I think we can shoot way lower too. Just, give me a quick 10 mil, I'll be set.
Hell yeah,
I love that.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming out today.
Oh, thank you so much.
Really appreciate you having you on.
Pleasure is mine, boys. And listen, I know you both like cooking, and I know you dabble with the fish a bunch, but I live in a pretty fishy spot, man. And we do from tuna to mahi to the inshore and shellfish. Open door. You guys come up. You should cook. I'm making it. Come up and hang out.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Open door, man. Go out in the boat.
I'm super down, dude.
We should set it up.
Yeah. Well, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you.
Yeah.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Hit subscribe now if you want to follow along. We have some awesome guests lined up that we sit down with. Make sure you follow the Not a Damn Chance podcast on socials at NADC Podcast. See you next week.